Every night the dog would growl at the baby. At first they thought it had gone mad. And then, one night, it saved the entire family. Lila was a female husky that Lisa and her husband had raised since they first got married. She was gentle, loyal, and always stuck close to Lisa, especially since she gave birth to their first child, baby Jacob. Lila would often lie beneath the crib each night, like a silent guardian. Lisa used to joke, "She's even more alert than I am." Until one night, Lisa heard a low growl, soft but unmistakable. The growl wasn't loud nor vicious, but more like a warning from afar. She jerked awake, turned on the lights, and rushed into the baby's room. The sight stopped her dead in her tracks. Lila was sitting upright in front of the crib, her eyes wide open, unblinking, staring intently at Jacob. And she growled. Lisa was startled. What was going on? She tried to shoo Lila away, but the dog didn't budge. Lila kept staring at the baby, her eyes filled with a mix of concern and determination. And finally, Lisa dragged her out of the room and shut the door. Her heart was racing. Before she could catch her breath, the same thing happened again the next night. And the night after that. Exactly at 1 hour and 15 minutes past 2 in the morning. Every night, Lisa began to worry. Her husband Tom thought that perhaps Lila was sick. They took her to the vet. The result? Perfectly healthy. All of her vitals were fine, her mental state normal. No ear infections, no stomach pain, no neurological issues. Lisa didn't understand. She was confused. Lila had never been a concern, until now. Every night, Lila growled when Jacob slept, as if something was very close, and only she could sense it. Lisa began to think of things more unbelievable. Could it be she's seeing a ghost? Tom dismissed it, but he too started feeling uneasy. Lisa began to feel worn out from the stress. They argued. Tom suggested they lock Lila up. Lisa refused. You don't understand. She's not an ordinary animal. She's smart. She knows something we don't. Tom stayed silent, offering no rebuttal. But he was also worried. Worried about their son, worried about Lisa. They installed a camera in Jacob's room. That night, they sat in front of the screen, waiting. 1 hour and 55 minutes past 2 in the morning. Jacob slept soundly. Lila lay beneath the crib, her head resting on her front paws. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Lila stood up, her ears perked up. 2 hours and 14 minutes. She approached the crib, sat upright, never taking her eyes off Jacob. 2 hours and 15 minutes. She growled. But on the camera there was nothing unusual. No one appeared. No strange objects. No odd movements. Just a dog, staring at the child as if hypnotized. Lisa felt bewildered, mixed with fear. She broke down in tears. She was too exhausted to analyze any further. They called in a dog trainer. The trainer said, "Maybe she's hearing something that human ears can't pick up, low frequencies or strange gases." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. They called in a team to check for gas leaks, sound waves, electromagnetic fields, short circuits, but nothing was amiss. Everything was perfect. They even removed soundproof panels and checked the outlets and the ceiling. Nothing could change one truth. Lila still growled. On time. Every night. Lisa began to fear Lila. She loved her. But she was also scared. How could she be sure that one night Lila wouldn't jump into the crib? Her gaze, once filled with concern, was now becoming more intense. They began discussing the idea of sending Lila somewhere else. Lisa hesitated, but their sleep was getting worse and worse. She had become so thin from stress. One night, Lila didn't growl anymore. She just lay still. Lisa thought it was over. But the next night, it started again. And this time, it was worse. Lisa had lost her first child, such a huge shock that even now she still hadn't truly gotten over it. Jacob was the light after that dark period. Because of that, the fear of losing her child was always with her, not just out of motherly instinct, but also due to the trauma from the past. That's why when Lila started growling in the middle of the night, every nerve in her body was on edge. She couldn't bear the thought, what if this time I lose another one? Tom, unlike Lisa, was a practical person. He loved his family, but he didn't easily believe in things he couldn't see. To him, Lila's behavior was just because she was overly sensitive. But he also realized one thing. Lisa was getting more and more exhausted. One night, after a light argument, Tom went to bed first. Lisa stayed in the living room, opened her laptop and began searching. She joined a forum about animal behavior and shared the story of Lila and Jacob. Just a few minutes later, a user replied, I went through something similar. My dog would wake me up every night when my child stopped breathing due to a rare condition. Don't ignore it. Keep watching. They know more than we think. Lisa was speechless. The next morning, Lisa took Lila to the park, a thing she hadn't done since Jacob was born. She brought a ball and threw it for her to chase. But Lila didn't play. She just sat there, her eyes deep in thought, as if pondering something. Lisa sat down next to her and, for the first time in weeks, she whispered, What are you trying to tell me, Lila? I'm sorry for not listening. Lila turned to her and gently licked her hand. In that moment, Lisa knew she had to trust this dog. She hugged her, and she broke down in tears. Not all growls are dangerous. Sometimes those growls are a cry for help. For the one it loves most in the world. But the story doesn't end there. 2 weeks after the terrifying event, Lisa still hadn't slept a full night. Jacob had been under constant medical monitoring with a breathing machine, sensors, and an alarm system set up in the crib. But every night, when the clock struck 2:15, Lisa still woke up, as if her body's habit had been deeply ingrained in her subconscious. She would often go down to the kitchen, pour herself a cup of warm milk, and sit next to Lila. Lila no longer growled, no more barking. She just lay there, calm, almost as if finally she could sleep peacefully. One morning, Lisa received an email from a stranger who claimed to be a veterinarian specializing in neurology and animal behavior. I heard about Lila from a friend at the hospital. I think you should let me take a closer look if you allow me. At first, Lisa hesitated. But curiosity won out. A few days later, a man arrived. He didn't wear a white lab coat, but carried an old leather backpack and had the sharp eyes of someone who had seen more than the average person. He sat next to Lila for hours, not touching her, not giving commands, just observing. Finally, he spoke. This dog has the ability to sense changes in a person's bioelectric field. It's almost like intuition, like how some dogs can smell cancer. Lisa was stunned. She doesn't just sense what humans can't, she cares for your family as if you are her pack, and when no one listens to her, she has to act. Lisa looked at Lila. Lila just lay there, wagging her tail lightly when she met Lisa's gaze. From that day on, Lila became the special assistant in monitoring Jacob. Every morning, Lisa would note Lila's behavior in a small notebook, her sleep, sounds she reacted to, moments when her behavior changed. She began piecing together a detailed picture of what had happened and why. Lisa's video was shared widely. The press called Lila the furry angel. Some suggested making a documentary, but Lisa refused all offers. She didn't need the whole world to know. She only needed every night, when Jacob slept safely, Lila lying next to the crib and her family in peace. One evening, talking to Tom, Lisa said, "I used to think Lila was the one keeping our child safe, but I was wrong. It's her who taught me how to listen." Tom held her hand. He didn't say anything, but his eyes were filled with tears. There are sounds no one wants to hear, like the growl in the middle of the night. But sometimes, that very noise is the only thing that keeps us awake, keeps us alive, keeps us together. I appreciate you staying with us. Not everyone gets to hear the untold. If this intrigued you, drop a like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the Untold Story to uncover even more.